an amazing evening it has been, and the Swiss will celebrate long into the night in Bucharest after that victory. They've made it through to a major tournament quarter-final for the first time since 1967. And Anya, what a way to do it. Mbappe having his penalty saved by Sommer. Didi did mention that he fancied Sommer more than Lloris to save a pen. Wow.
Yeah, I think it's tough one on Mbappe. You have to feel for him stepping up to take that fifth pen out, and there's a lot of pressure on it, and Sommer saves it. It was probably a nice height for him to get to when he gets it the right way and gets a good strong hand to it in a way. And I'd say Mbappe just wants the ground to swallow him up right there, and I think it was coming. He was starting to snatch at chances in extra time. There was that one off his left foot that he blasted wide, but what a moment for Switzerland. I think it's not more than they deserved. I think they were exceptional in the first half. They came out, they got their chance. Lloris saved the pen out, the game went on its head. Really, France only played for 25 minutes, got their 3 goals and then allowed Switzerland back into it. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. Both games, Switzerland and Spain going in after playing extra time in the quarters.
Were there tears in Deschamps' eyes, Didi?
I don't know, I didn't see him. I'm not sure whether there's tears, but obviously he'll face huge criticism now. And what we must not forget, Switzerland, they played in Baku, Rome-Baku, because there was talk about yesterday, the Welsh, how much they travelled. Deschamps talking about how hot it's been in Budapest when they played there. You know, these guys made more miles than anybody else in this tournament, and some of the performances, we see Xhaka, I'm not his biggest fan because he's sometimes ill-disciplined, he makes bad decisions, doesn't do things for the team today. He's been absolutely outstanding. Everything he did, he didn't put a foot wrong, won tackles, played the right ball, played some good long passes. Elvedi at the back, Embolo in the first half, obviously Seferovic with the goals, and it means a lot. Obviously they're our neighbours in Germany. It'll, you know, it's a skiing nation. You know, skiing is a main sport, and it's a bit, you know, it's a bit of a step sport. You know, it's not the main sport in Switzerland, but it'll mean an awful lot to these guys. It's a small nation. They beat the world champions, and God knows how far they can go. We see Mbappe here made a big difference when he came on. Gabranovic, who got the goal. And to be 3-1 down against the world champions with about 10 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go, and have the morale and the character and to say, come on lads, you know, this is not over. Absolutely outstanding. I'm absolutely delighted for them.
Yeah. Like there's I suppose a feeling, Damien, to an extent. Like, and look, we've played them. We know that team, that Swiss team well. We've suffered against them. We've had the odd decent time against them as well. But you know, they're what, 12, 13 in the world. They haven't exactly come from nowhere. They ain't won anything yet, but they've just knocked out the world champions.
Yeah, listen, Ireland over the years, we've drawn them a lot. So, of course, yes, we know they're a good team. They're a well-oiled outfit. Petkovic has done a brilliant job with them. I think he's there 6-7 years. I hope we didn't disrespect them before the game, but, you know, when France have so much quality, I just thought they have to go through, and Mbappe has to start firing. But touching on Mbappe, Kells was so right. I think the whole of the world there, for just some reason, sometimes just a sixth sense, he just knew he was going to miss, and I know he's the villain of the piece, but you could argue even, you know, Lloris, I touched on it, his weak wrists, you know, he has to save that penalty, but what a game we have next.
To look forward to. Yeah, it was the Vargas penalty you were talking about that Lloris got across and really should have.
He has to save it there.
Yeah, should have saved. But there will be, like as Didi says, the reaction, you know, and I think Deschamps, I think they were talking about extending his contract up until the next World Cup, take it out to 22, maybe a deal for 24 with the Euros there as well. But, you know, okay, there probably will be an overreaction to them going out at this early stage of the competition. But with all that talent he has at his disposal, okay, the defence looked awful tonight, but they should have been able to dispose of Switzerland, and they weren't. The Swiss were fantastic.
Absolutely. They've always beaten with that stick that he plays football that's too conservative, too pragmatic, that's not
just doing enough.
Just doing enough.
Yeah.
It's not free-flowing enough when you look at their quality. Probably similar to what England have done. You know, they haven't been a great watch. But listen, they were World Cup champions, so he's got away with it. But yeah, of course they'll aim that at him now because he has some of the best players in the world. And they don't play the most exciting brand of football. But at the same time, he's a top manager. He's got, you know, all these brilliant players playing his way, believing in his style, and that's half the battle, just like Pep does, just like Klopp does. So he has them all on board. So I imagine the players will be well behind them. But yeah, of course, a massive disappointment going out tonight.
I think doing enough or doing as much as you have to do is okay as long as you keep winning.
Okay.
You know, that's one thing. And, you know, you can lose games in a knockout tournament. It can happen. You can't lose a game to Switzerland when you're 3-1 up with about 10, 15 minutes to go. That shouldn't happen. You know, this is an experienced side. I always say you see how experienced they are, how good they are, how well they play together, how they defend the lead. You know, we've seen some teams in this tournament who did it well, but for a world champion, it's just not good enough to concede 2 late goals the way they did. You know, the first one was a free header from 6 yards, and the second one, you know, Gavranovic gets a ball in the middle. The 2 centre-backs are 20 yards apart, and he beats one player and he knocks the ball in from 20 yards. It was just far too easy. And what Damien said, that they don't play expansive football, you know, they showed it for 20 minutes, 25 minutes after Switzerland missed a penalty, and people back at home in France probably say, well, why don't you play all the time like this? Which is obviously not possible because you've got to respect the opposition as well. But I think for the squad they've got, when you see them in the group stage, when you see them tonight, it's been a very disappointing France performance.
And like, Anya, when you go back, like this seems like about a week ago now, after 55 minutes, like this massive moment in the game, and this seemed to turn it the way of France. And you're thinking about this double they could do like the other team did in 98 and 2000, and Deschamps was there, now he's the manager. But this moment, when you look at VAR's intervention, the penalty, and then the save from Lloris, like this was the turning point, and you thought, right, they're going to drive on from here.
Yeah, look, they did start firing after Lloris saved the penalty. It seemed to give them some sort of motivation.
We don't have time to show it, but
to drive on and go forward. But you have to ask, in the first half, the complacency they showed. Then after they were 3-1 up, the complacency they showed. And we talk about them being a conservative team. They showed their defensive frailties. So all these things need to be addressed with the top players they have in the team. And I still can't go back to him changing the tactics in the first half to going 3 at the back, and they just looked disorganised. Pogba, Kante, they couldn't get into the game and dictate.
Yeah, well, I think it's the French sports newspaper L'Equipe who gives particularly brutal ratings to players. I might try and have a glance at that tomorrow, because some of the French players will not come out of that well, and neither will their manager. That, I'm afraid, is all we have time for tonight. I think we all need a bit of a break now. But thanks to Didi, to Damien and to Anya on a night when the world champions France have gone out of the competition. The Swiss, well, they will be very, very hard for the Spanish to beat at the weekend. That's going to be some game. Tomorrow the lineup will be complete. Will England or Germany be there? We're going to find out. See ya.